Hey, welcome back to Foley Methods and Tips. This is day 12. I've touched on this before, but I have a lot of new followers, so I just want to kind of go through a quick explanation. So some of you can skip this, but the question that I get asked most often is, why does Foley exist at all? Why don't they just use the sounds that were filmed during filming on set? So there are a few reasons. First of all, on set, they're really focused on the actors' dialogue. The actors are the talent. They're the most important thing when you're filming on set. And so they really try to get their words as clear as possible, and everything else is sort of secondary. So that can be putting something down on a table, certainly their footsteps, even like writing, putting on clothing. The only thing that's really properly clear is their dialogue. So we come in after and kind of do a layer of all that stuff that sits on top of the originally recorded dialogue track. So that's one reason, and that's why it's almost always there. Secondly, sometimes sets can be very noisy, like if you're shooting in a factory or at an airport or beside a highway. And in cases like that, the actors will actually come back into a studio and re-record their lines as they watch themselves in the scene. And so when that happens, they're watching themselves and they're redoing their lines with the right intensity, and that's what you end up hearing. But what that means is that they don't use anything that was originally recorded for those scenes on set, because it's all too noisy. So then in those cases, Foley is also very important, because we're sort of building the scene up from scratch. It's not so much a layer on top of what's there as it is really everything. Of course, sound effects are added in as well. Things like, birds chirping or explosions or lights buzzing or car engines. Those are not Foley. Those are sound effects. A third reason why Foley is important and exists is a lot of stuff on sets is not real. If a character or an actor is walking on what appears to be a marble floor, that actually might be plywood that's just been painted to look like marble. So the sound is not going to be good, even if they were to record it very properly. Same thing with certain props. Guns could be foam, a knife could be rubber. And in fact, they'll often, sound recordists on set will go out of their way to give things no sound. Like they might put a little foam pad underneath coffee mugs. So when the actors put that down, it doesn't ruin their dialogue. So we have to go in and then add all those sounds in so everybody's happy, and things can be adjusted, independently. And then the final reason, I guess, is for what are called M&Es, which are essentially international versions of films. So if a film was shot in English originally, and then they do an Italian version of it, and the actors' voices are all dubbed in Italian, then once again, they can't use any of the original sound that was recorded on set. So Foley plays a big part in just creating like a large portion of the entire soundscape. Otherwise, it just sounds kind of vacant and really not as effective. Okay, that was a long one. Thank you if you're still here, and I will see you again tomorrow. Okay, bye.